Hey guys, so welcome back to VHB Engines. Today's little video is going to be a ranting story, a little bit of a rant. I didn't have a new video last week because I was two reasons. I was locked out of the shop. Well, I finally got the key for the shop, and when I got in, there was this big ass F-150. It was fucking in pieces everywhere. It was a fucking ginormous V8 big block right in the middle of where I do my building, so I decided to skip on that week. And I was debating on making a little video about the fucking EG sedan for the people that were tracking that, and as I have a lot of parts I need to put on it, but it didn't happen either because it fucking rained all last weekend. And as you can tell right now, it's nice and fucking sunny outside, so I plan on doing some of that shit today. I'm lazy, so I never do as much as I plan to do, so I probably will only do a little bit of it, but some of it's going to get done. Anyway, so the little rant, my story is about this shop in Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, northern Fort Lauderdale, or Pompano. I think it's in Pompano. It's the name will remain blank Autosports. So for you guys that, not many of you that have watched the videos for the EG sedan that followed it, along with the troubleshooting and trying to figure out what was wrong with it and deciding I was going to take it to a shop, well, the whole incident led me back to why I started building my own engines and started doing 100% of my own work. It's just because you go to these places and they want to rob you or do half-assed work for a high price. And I was really hoping for Eddie over at Genesis Automotive to get it to him, but he couldn't, and for whatever reason, and I was fucking getting desperate to get the car done. Like I said, I was trying to get it out of my hair and get somebody else to do it. And so I started asking around. I called another shop that's, kind of famous down here. It's IBT, Island Boy Tuning. Now, I haven't personally done any business with the Jamaican guys, but I know they do a lot of high-end builds like 2J swaps and shit like that. So I figured that my shit shouldn't be such a problem for them. So I called him up. The guy told me the same thing that a couple of other dudes I trust said, that they're backed up, they're too far behind on work, that they can't, they wouldn't be able to see my car for weeks. So I was like, well, you guys got any recommendation? And he said, yeah, we'll send you to this fucking blank fucking Autosports guys. And they make appearance at SRMS, which is Street Racing Made Safe at West Palm Beach. They have an Evo out there that's pretty fast, So, it's a sports shop. These guys aren't really just basic mechanics. These guys, they deal with high-end cars. So I figured, fuck it. Why not? Give them a call. So I called them. I talked to the receptionist, this little female. And then I talked to another guy, a mechanic there who could understand more about what I was saying. Explained the situation. Like, hey, I got a coolant code that's fucking cleared and it came back. I got a fucking map code that, cleared and came back. And I don't know what the fucking problem is. I've checked, I've gone through all the troubleshooting steps, yada, yada, yada. I told them everything I did to try and help speed their troubleshooting process along, even if they go back and redo what I told them I did, it would be like after they tried something different. So that way, if they tried something different didn't work, then they could go back and recheck my work. But for to help save time, I told them everything I already did. Guy said, yeah, no problem. When you want to bring the car? I said, well, maybe today. I couldn't. The tow truck wasn't available. So couldn't do it that day. So the next day, I think they were closed, and the day after that was Monday. And so I talked to him again, talked to another guy to refresh that guy's memory about everything that was wrong with the car. Real friendly on the phone, bring the car by. I never got a chance to go there myself. I loaded the car up with a friend of mine, my shopmate Blake. Blake took the car to them, and right away, as he's unloading the car, fucking problems. So I get on the phone, and I'm pretty sure it was a guy that I hadn't spoke to already. So when he gets on the phone, he's like, well, what are we doing here? I go through the same shit I told him, but not as detailed as I told the other guys. I briefly explained situations. Like, look, this is what I want you guys to check. And he's like, well, here's the thing. and he starts pointing out all this shit in my engine bay that was fucked up. Like, I didn't have a dump tube on my fucking wastegate. Not 100% necessary to run, although later on it would become a problem for me, but not for what he was trying to make it out to be. You know, my dump tube, and then he goes, oh, this fucking motor mount is blown, and everything that he can find to nitpick on the fucking car, he was talking shit about. I was like, yeah, I know. The car's not there for that. Don't worry about that. I just want you guys to check out my codes with the coolant and check out the map. And then so he starts trying to nitpick my harness. I'm like, okay, all right, okay, let's talk about this. He's like, yeah, so it looks like your plug is really long here, and it looks like you got the reverse plug plugged into your coolant temperature sensor. And so at that point, I laughed. You know, I was like, nah, dude, that's not. I was like, he's like, well, we're gonna have to replace this engine harness because this engine harness is bad, it's chopped up. I'm like, no, it's not, dude. Like, I've personally been over that harness. It was, you know, next to brand new. There was only one plug that was fucked up, and it was the coolant sensor that had depinned. So instead of fucking repinning the fucking plug, I went to another harness, picked off the same fucking plug, cut it short, you know, I cut it long to the base of the fucking harness, off a parts harness, and put it on that one. So I told him, I was like, look, man, there's nothing wrong with that fucking harness. I took that coolant plug off of another fucking harness, and I put it on that one, and that's it. That's the only one that's cut. And then he pointed out the one fucking thing that I didn't catch, and it was probably because my motor was rocking like this, you know, every time I was starting it. My fucking, my map fucking sensor, not my map sensor, but the fucking idle air controls valve sensor had partially depinned. So he was pointing out all this. I was like, okay, fine. Well, maybe you found that, and I didn't see it, but everything else is fucking good, and it was. So then he goes back. He's like, well, this car is not safe to be on the road. I'm like, well, that car is not going to be on the road. I just want to get it, you know, get the codes cleared so I can have it tuned. I'm going to park it and fix the rest of the problems. And then he starts trying to point out more shit. I'm like, dude, I was like, there's nothing on that car that you're going to tell me, besides the IAC, that I don't fucking know. I was like, I built the engine. I put the fucking engine in the car. That car is completely mine. I was like, everything on that shit I did. You're not telling me anything I don't know. I was like, I'm not sending my car there to you guys to fucking nitpick and, you know, go through my shit. I'm asking you to fix this. But this little speed shop, man, is reminding me of a dealership. I've worked at a dealership. I know how this shit works. They train the mechanics to fucking find every single little thing they can find wrong on the car to add more work, to rise the bill up. You know, these guys were trying to fucking get $2,000 out of me. And I was like, that's not going to happen, bro. I was like, you're not fucking going to duck me like some fucking kid. Because I'm a mechanic. You know, I do professional fucking mechanic work, and I do fucking extra engine work on the side. It's like, I'm not fucking sending you there to change my motor mounts. And you can't tell me that you can't fucking fix my goddamn code without changing my motor mounts. It doesn't make any sense. And he goes, well, I don't even know where to start on this car. I was like, dude, I've already told you where to start. And I was like, if you know, like at this point in my head, I'm already starting to get frustrated because this guy, now he's starting to talk shit about my car. He's like, well, we don't do things that way here. We do things right. And we're not even going to, you know, we can't even touch any of this without, we're going to have to change the harness and the ECU. You know, it's just like, in my head, I'm thinking, man, what kind of fucking mechanic are you? Like, what the fuck do you mean you don't know where to start? I come from a shop, you know, a shop where motherfuckers are lazy as hell. Like, the truck will come in for something, and they will only address that. This could be bad right next to it, and 9 out of 10 times, that guy's gonna pretend like he didn't see it to fix whatever the complaint is. And this is what I was asking for. I was like, fix this specifically. I don't give a shit about anything else. That's all me. I'm gonna do that. But they weren't having it. They were refusing. And because at this point we were getting like a kind of back and forth argument, and he was just getting nasty about it. He's like, well, I just want you to know it's $90 an hour or some shit like that. It might even more. I can't remember. But I know it was some fucking absurdly high fucking labor charge an hour just to start looking at it. And I was like, dude, so off rip, these fucking assholes want to fucking, you know, he's telling me it's going to take like a minimum 6 hours. So I'm like, dude, round about $600, you fucking guys want to start charging me just to look at some fucking codes. You know, and this shit takes me back further in memory to the first shop of this kind that I dealt with. Like, which these motherfuckers, I will tell you, Speed Factory El Paso, that don't even exist anymore. I fucking wonder why. It was one guy who teaches at Western Technical College named fucking Rich, and his cousin was running the fucking counter, and one mechanic ran the shop. And then as far as the other mechanics that would rotate through that fucking place, they were interns from the fucking college. You know, when I just came back from fucking Afghanistan. And my car was having problems. The CRX I had. I just fucking, put a turbo kit on there. And my head gasket fucking popped. And so I take the car there, hoping I can get the car done fast. I lived in an apartment at the time. And my mechanical skills wasn't as great as they are now. Although I wasn't fucking stupid. I wasn't a mechanical dummy. So I take it there, drop it off. The car wound up being there for a fucking year. I spent $10,000. And I came out with a car that I had to get that, was way underpowered, 272 horsepower for a goddamn near fully built motor. I was really fucking pissed off. Always excuses. I had to fucking do more bolt-ons, a bigger turbo, go back for a retune. Still came up severely underpowered, 340. The guy just did a couple pulls to make a little bit of power and then dropped the fucking keys. Like, here you go, be happy. And like, the fucking year my car spent down in the shop and the fucking, to make that little of power, it was insanely fucking retarded. So the next time I dealt with a mechanic, the guy was actually a friend of mine, who will remain nameless, but a friend of mine. And when I got the car back, the fucking motor was slamming in the car like I had bad motor mounts, but I had brand new fucking, Blackwork mounts or some shit like that. I couldn't understand, and I told him, like, hey, look, it's slamming like it's got no motor mounts, and they're brand new. And he was just like, yeah, well, I don't know what the problem is. And then later on, I moved into a house, got out of the Army, and I started taking my car apart because I was going to put the swap in another shell again. And it was like, oh, well, I was like, I found my mount. It was like, had this much play. This much, man. That's a fuck ton of play. Because the bolt wasn't threaded down all the way. And I mentioned it again. I was like, hey, so I was pulling the swap out. I noticed this fucking motor mount wasn't tightened down all the way. And he was just like, oh, yeah, bro, well, we had a problem with that mount. So I was like, dude, if you fucking knew, then why didn't you say that when I asked you or mentioned it? You could have told me, and I would have been like, huh, okay, whatever, no big deal. But you chose to lie. And unfortunately, a lot of people are like that out there. A lot of these fucking shops, they don't really care about the customers, happiness. They just care about making the fucking money, dude. And not everybody can be like me. Not everybody is happy to, to work on the side and make, low money on, not make a big fortune off of it. I admit this is not my fucking business that I make my main income off of. I do this for fun. So, I understand that you got to be a little hustle in there. But dude, like, why fight me? When I told you what was up, you could have easily made a couple $100. I was willing to shell out at least $500 if they could have fixed my problem. And the problem turned out to be a bad ECU. And I think that came from the guy who chipped it. I really think that the fucking guy had a fucking corrupt chip in there. And when he switched it from one ECU to the next, he fixed it when he reflashed it. I really think that's what the issue was. But whatever. I paid money for that again. But you live and you learn all the time. Still learning from my fucking experiences dealing with the car world. There's plenty of things new all the time that I run into. Yeah, so in the end, the fucking car was just a bad computer, and that was it. The reason why I wouldn't stay on was because of the maps. The fucking fuel map was off. So the base map I was given, that the guy gave me, was not good enough. It wasn't good enough to fucking run the car. He had to fucking get into it and sit down and play with it. I don't know. I don't think that should have been an issue. I think that the base map alone should have been enough to do that, but it didn't. And whatever. So a big ass fucking problem was a little issue. A fucking computer. And I spent a month, 2 months down with this car because I didn't want to believe it was a computer because it wasn't showing me 100% that it was a computer. Whatever. That was my mistake, my fault. Learn from me. I want to think, man, that if you really have a passion for cars, don't let any excuses that you have, because you are your own fucking worst enemy when it comes to why you won't do your own cars. Everybody's out here on these fucking groups wanting to fucking find cheap ass fucking labor. The cheapest labor you're gonna find is yourself. If you have a daily and you don't want to fuck with that, then don't, man. Be fucking patient. Be patient, because power is patience. Even for you doing your fucking whole labor, unless you make fuck tons of money. Be patient. Get a car that you can afford to play with on the side and build it. Take your fucking time. Don't half-ass it. Do it properly, man. And you're gonna win out. But at the end of the day, you're gonna know everything, every detail on your car because you did it. And the accomplishment that you can make after you run your car is fucking overwhelming. That's the best feeling in the world. That you really love cars, knowing that you have a car that you built doing this kind of work. You know, and just if you run into a problem like this, it's persistent. You know, try to find somebody to help. Don't ask a fuck ton of people, because it's gonna just cloud any kind of answer you're gonna get that's legit. You know, spend the time working on it. Try. Don't give up. You know, at the end of the day, it really fucking upset me that I kept saying I was going to quit the fucking car, and in the end, it was me who fixed it, you know. So just, again, be patient, work with your shit, just sparingly. If you need to walk away from it for a little while, walk away from it for a little while, but just keep at it. Persistence is the key in the automotive world. Alright, this fucking video's gone on a lot further than I expected. It's probably like my fucking longest video ever. So, if you want to see the story of the sedan, go to the Shop Talk playlist and look at the failure to launch, the gremlins chasing shit. They're real short videos, and it'll tell you in detail what everything that happened. It'll tell you what happened on the dyno. My kid's fucking starting school. My firstborn is starting school this month, so the chances of me finishing the car or like I expected next week is a no-go, because I got to buy fucking school uniforms and school supplies and all that shit. And so I probably won't have the car tuned until next month. And because rent and all that shit's going to be coming around the next couple of weeks again already, it'll be towards the end of next month. But hopefully by then, you know, hopefully this weekend I will have the new turbo on and the new control arms to see if that fixes my little tilt. And also maybe the motor mounts, depending on how lazy I am. Maybe not. But yeah, I might do another video about that later on today. So keep your eyes out. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.